Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Miss Pineta. Today we're going to be reading the story, The Hero Next Door. And then we have a few authors here. Today we're specifically going to be looking at R.J. Palacio. So we're going to open it up to his story, which is on page 209. So I'm going to give you guys a quick second to get there. All right, now that we've gotten there, let's read the title. Let's all just point at the title, Reina Madrid. When we look at that title, do any of us know what the word reina means? Reina. The word reina means queen. It translates to queen in English. It means a queen. Madrid. Okay, so let's continue. Reina Madrid by R.J. Palacio. Reina wasn't her real name. Maria Eugenia was. But Maria Eugenia Madrid first moved to the neighborhood at the age of 6. None of the other kids could pronounce the new girl's name the way her mother pronounced it, as one long word, a series of uncertain vowel sounds in the middle. Maria Eugenia. Instead, the neighborhood kids found it much easier to call Maria Eugenia by the other name Miss Madrid used for her daughter, Reina. Reina. That was simpler to pronounce. The neighborhood kids didn't know what it meant, queen in Spanish. They didn't know that Mr. Madrid, who had tragically died only 4 months before mother and daughter had moved. I'm going to read one more sentence from the next one. Next page. Move on. Here used to call her that too. Actually, Mr. Madrid's pet name for Maria Eugenia was Reinita, which meant little queen, but the neighborhood kids didn't know or care about any of that. All they knew or cared about was that Reina Madrid could run as fast as all the boys on 160th Street, except for Roy Ponte. But nobody could run faster than Roy. And Reina Madrid was an excellent kickball player. This might or might not have had to do with all the weekends she spent playing football with her father when she was little. All anyone knew was that when it was Reina Madrid's turn to kick, tiny as she was, everyone in the field took 3 steps back. The kids from the neighborhood played kickball in the courtyard behind the 3 buildings that faced the avenue. There was a strip of grass that spanned the length of the building, just wide enough for bases, and was where all the kids congregated. The word congregated. Have we heard that word? The word congregated. Can we all pronounce it? Congregated. That means come together. So we have a group of people come together. So maybe we have a group of people come together for a party. So a group of people congregated at the party or congregated at the park for a celebration. The apartment complex itself was quite lovely. Small Tudor-style 4-story buildings with pretty gardens in front of each one. It was those gardens that had compelled Miss Madrid to rent the apartment on 160th Street. Even though it was out of her price range when she had started looking for rentals, the realtor had only initially shown her apartments around 74th Street under the subway overpass. This reason was where she should live because it was a predominantly Spanish-speaking neighborhood. Have we heard of the word predominantly? The word predominantly means, being only or having most of. So around my neighborhood, we have most Spanish-speaking people. My neighbors speak Spanish. My next door neighbors speak Spanish. The neighbors in front of me. My apartment complex, my entire apartment complex speaks Spanish. Maybe some of you guys have Asian American neighborhoods, right? Maybe we all have Black neighbors. We have different cultures, diverse cultures in our neighborhoods. Mine in specific is only Spanish speaking. I don't have a lot of diversity in a way. So let's continue. You'll be comfortable here, he assured her. So I want to leave it off there for this part, and I want us to move over to another section, specifically on page 227. I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes while we all get there. Okay. And before we even get started, I just want us to appreciate our name really quickly. Just like how Reina, and they weren't able to pronounce her name, and how they thought it was okay just to simply call her Reina. A lot of people do appreciate them being called by nicknames, right? I prefer being called Jackie, right? Or Miss Jackie. Maybe Reina would have loved for them to be able to pronounce her name Maria Eugenia. But it's okay sometimes we're not able to, and we don't want to incorrectly pronounce somebody's name because it can be offensive. But we should also really try hard to pronounce people's name because a name represents a person, right? Jackie represents me. Jackie is strong. Jackie is brown skin. Jackie has brown eyes, right? I'm Jackie. Jackie is me. Jackie is part of me. So the same way that Sebastian is part of you, or your name is part of you. So let's continue reading. So I said page 227. I'm going to start with the first paragraph that starts off. Reina was not one of these voices. She knew or sensed Franny had other forces at work in her morning routine that had nothing to do with the kids below and everything to do with the chaos inside her home. It wasn't uncommon for Franny to emerge from her building with mismatched sneakers or a shirt worn inside out. There was always some waiting around for Franny, but today the crowd was ruthless. Come on. Let's just go, said Kim, an older girl who didn't usually hang out with them. But she'll be down in a second, Reina said. We've been waiting forever, Kim said, clucking her tongue. Let's just go already. An argument was about to start. But luckily, Franny came trotting out the front door of the building just in time. She seemed almost breathless. I'm ready, she said, running past the group. The crowd began to head toward the long courtyard with a voice boom, Franny's kitchen window. It was a man's voice. It sounded like thunder. Franny, you get back here, Franny's father yelled out from the window. The kids all stopped in their tracks and looked up. They could see Franny's dad in his white shirt, undershirt, red nose, and at the window looking down at them. Let's continue. I'm just playing for a little while, Franny yelled back. I told you you're not going out and playing out with that spick anymore, he shouted. There was silence. A silence like a cloud that consumed all the worldly sounds. No buses, no cars, no birds, silence. Reina was looking up everyone else, not even realizing that he'd said what he had said at first. But then it hit her. Quickly, with the strange clarity of a firework in the night, a Roman candle explosion in still black air, he was talking about her. None of the other kids spoke Spanish. She was the only one with the long black ponytail and the warm brown eyes. Her skin was the color of canela, as her mother used to say, cinnamon. So we all know the color of cinnamon, a little brown, right? That's the word canela her mom would call her. Later, when she went to art school, she would learn the word sepia. What was the best color word to describe her, but for now, canela. Franny's father had just called her spick in front of all her neighborhood friends. It was an indecisive moment. It was a flash going off, obscuring vision. No one looked at Franny or Reina. The kids looked down at the sidewalk or at each other. Reina didn't see Franny's expression. As she ran back inside the building, she herself swallowed hard. It didn't occur to her to cry. She wasn't angry. She was embarrassed. Though she was still, like she was at the age of 6, a very shy girl. She didn't like to be the center of attention. So what are we seeing so far? We're seeing that he's being very mean to her. It's a very tough situation to be called out by somebody very rudely, right? focusing on the mean word that he's saying and just replaying it over and over again. So let's continue. Just keep in mind, what would you do in that moment? Reina turned to Karen and Tommy, the kids she felt closest to, who knew her the best. Their eyes were wide, trying to gauge her expression to see how they should react. How would you react in that moment? Would you have reacted the same way she did? Reina thought they looked like they were waiting for her to speak, to say something, but she didn't want to. She found no words. She wanted the moment to be over, forgotten. Let's just play already, said Roy Ponte, punching the Spalding ball into the courtyard. The kids, as if released from a game of freeze tag, followed the ball into the York courtyard. It bounced off the walls and Roy caught it and called, "Captain." Big Frank called, "Captain." They picked sides. Reina always got picked second or third. She was good at punch ball. Nothing was said about what had just happened. Reina focused on the game, blew all thoughts of it away. She punched them away every time it was her turn to bat. Franny didn't come back out to play that day. She didn't watch the fireworks that night, but she showed up the next day. No one called her for her, but she came out and joined the group in the middle of a game of tag. She said hello to her. Neither one of them ever acknowledged what had happened. They were best friends, but they were strangers too. There were boundaries, like in foreign countries, that were never crossed. So they went through a difficult time. So as we can see, she didn't tell anybody anything because the next day happened and she had yet not told anybody. So I want to leave it off here for the read aloud and just think, how would you deal with someone like that? Someone so mean and being rude. And that was it for Reina Madrid. I hope you guys can read all the pieces we were missing so you guys can get a more clear idea of what the situation and learn a little bit more about Reina and her friends, right? That's it for today. Have a very nice day.